gain?
I'm on my iPhone.
Okay.
There's no gain.
All right, well, there's something. All right, I think we should be live in just a second.
Yeah, we are.
Here we go. Well, you know, whatever. Bunny, are you ready to do a show?
I'm ready.
Technology. What about you? You want to do a show? Tech. He don't know what he wants to do. What are you doing, Tech? What's going on, pal?
My PC killing me, but I'm here on mobile. I'm doing.
All right, we ready to start, or we want to wait for? I think we're getting a redirect from Miss Becky tonight.
I think she's doing them now.
She's sending her now, Jeffy. Let the door.
Open the goddamn door. Let's begin, my friends. Here we go. Welcome to the Madhouse. Now we just need some music. Hang on. Well, we would be up in the roof up there. You can kind of see me. Hello, Bunny, across the hall, but Bunny's still a giant tonight. Whatever the point is, who gives a shit? Let's start the goddamn show. Welcome to Madhouse, my delightful dear friends. It is nice to see everybody. It is delightful to get a redirect from our colleague and pal, Miss... Goddamn, where did that go? Miss Becky Boop, thank you for that.
Thank you, Becky.
Yeah, I have not been keeping up. I've kept up with a little bit of the LCU news. I'm fully aware that it seems like once and for all, she has thrown off the very stunted, developed adolescent shackles of Keemstar and decided to go out on her own, which is delightful. If you're coming over from her show, welcome. I'll tell you what this show is real quick. Down there in the bottom right, I would tell you that would be Tech Protect. Are you not even going to be on camera tonight because your thing's fucked up or what?
It should be back up in 2 minutes, and I'll be on PC.
Okay. So Madhouse, if you haven't watched Madhouse in the past, is a show, it's kind of a show a little bit in transition because we started out on the LCU being all about UFOs and UAPs and ghosts and all that kind of stuff. And we are still very much about that. We're really into that. But every night it's hard to find stories that are relevant. And so we're kind of all over the place now. So tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about politics. We are going to get into a little bit what's happening with Iran. We're going to be talking about the woman in Atlanta who's brain dead, who just delivered her baby, which is, it's very interesting. It brings up a lot of ethical questions. We're going to be talking about fan-made pornography. I love it. We're going to be talking about fan-made pornography and sort of why is it okay to do fanfic erotica, but the minute you start doing deepfake porn, that's a bridge too far. Maybe it should be, maybe it shouldn't be, blah, 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 blah. We're going to talk all about that tonight. We will take your calls if you want to call in, and we will take your chats and super chats, and it will be delightful. So, before we get to the show, let me first say thank you to our new members. We appreciate you guys being here. We appreciate you always being here and all everybody. But look, Twisted SMF, thank you so much for joining the Diet Soda Soldiers. Great to see you. Bridge Troll, thank you for joining the Diet Soda Soldiers. It is delightful to see you, you whimsical skedaddler. Tonight we have two goals. Number one is we're already 38 in. We're 2 into we have 38 left. I'll update in a minute. Final Destination Bloodlines is now available to stream. If you want to hop over into our Discord afterwards, if we get our 40-member goal hit, we will watch that tonight. And then we have the What the Fuck Wheel. There he is, old Albert Einstein right there. For $5, you can put whatever kind of moral dilemma or philosophical question you want on the wheel. And once we get 50, we'll spin it. And we'll talk about your topic for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever's interesting. Willie Farnsworth, thank you so much for the super chat for the gift membership. We appreciate it very, very much. Laura is okay. You goddamn right. She's more than okay. She's a delightful woodland creature. Wait.
Oh,
I'm flirting with her,
little
Bunny.
chipmunk.
I'm flirting.
Yeah,
I'm
you did good.
Bunny's
That was much
teaching-
better than you did
Bunny's
yesterday.
teaching me how to Laura, thank you so much for joining the Diet Soda Soldiers. Well, listen, last night, Bunny and I, on the last night's show, we were looking at, if you remember, we were looking at dudes who kind of, is the word front? Is that the right word? What do you kids say today?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, and there's this dude who's sitting there courtside at some basketball game with his girlfriend, and he's all like this, like, and I'm just like, I hate that shit. But Bunny told me I was doing good, but this was better tonight. Is that the idea? What I just did
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't listen to the incel guy. You don't know what he's talking
I
about.
don't know what the hell he's talking about. Sterling, welcome back. Always great to see you. There's our mod. Welcome back to the Diet Soda Soldiers, Sterling. We obviously always appreciate your support in the various ways you give it to us. Thank you so much, Sterling. Now, we are 35 members away from Final Destination. I hear it's great. Sitting at like an 89. Tech, keep a track on the money and stuff because I'm going to update the board when you get in here.
I'm tracking it.
All right. K-Nubs, thank you so much, buddy. Hello to all the Becky boopers. You're goddamn right. We're not going to spend too much time with LCU drama because it's not what we really do here. But since Becky isn't here right now, I know she did her first show tonight. I think Roxy was on it. Can you fill me in? Did you watch any of this, Bunny, this show?
I watched it.
What is the
It was really
gist?
good.
She is out and she is doing her thing, or what's going on?
She's doing her own thing. Yeah. She's creating her own universe, her own network
Okay.
to compete with Kings. Yeah.
Do you think?
Sounds really exciting.
All right, let's talk about this now. So, the way you just phrased it, you said to compete with Keem. How much of this, and this is important, and next time I talk to Becky, I will ask her directly. This is not like this is a real question I'm curious about. How much of this is fuck you, Keem? And sometimes that works, by the way. Revenge is an amazing accelerant, right? But how much do you think is I am furious with you. You were a jerk to me, and I want to take you down, and I want to win. And how much of this is I genuinely want to create this content? And it can be both. It can be one or the other. One's not better than the other. I'm just curious what your analysis is.
Yeah, I think that the wanting to compete with Keem was probably a good kick in the butt, but you can tell she wants to build a community. She wants to build a good network. She said she didn't want it to be like Keem's where it's just a bunch of infighting and stuff. She wants the fun parts of it. All the fun parts that were over there, that's what she wants. And I agree. I love that.
I would tell you what, I would absolutely love to see us together do incredibly well. Not because I don't know Keemstar well enough to dislike him as much as Becky seems to, but I'm sure he would earn my ire if I spent more time with him. But I will tell you that I certainly like competition, and I'd love to see us kick his ass. I think that'd be a lot of fun, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, that would be fun.
And you know what? Not that I ever had any intention of ever going to his little 4th of July party when we were working for him.
Mm-hmm.
God, thank God, because I know Tech would be in my ear. Jaffe, you need to go. It's good for business. It's good for business.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh God.
I do not want to fucking go to a goddamn Keemstar party. No, thank you. What's that?
No.
It'd be good for the soul.
It'd be good for what?
No.
The soul.
Am I the only one struggling with the audio tonight? Like my volume is super low.
Yeah, you still have that software mixer bullshit thing that fucked us over before.
Well, hang on. Let me fix it.
Yeah, somebody said I was super loud and you're low.
Your gain is really bad, Bunny, but I can pull you down a little.
Yeah, but that's you, I think.
Hang on, I'm pulling Bunny down. Don't do anything, Bunny. Tech, I'm going to pull you down a little bit, and I just brought me up. Is that better, you guys? Glock loaded. Thank you so much for Jaffe Madhouse membership. We appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Bunny should not be peaking anymore, and I should be higher. Is this acceptable, or are we ready to go, or what?
Better.
Is it better or not? You're saying it is? True love
I
has
don't know.
4 paws. You goddamn right. You goddamn right. I'm still quiet. Still a wee bit quiet. Okay, hang on. How about now? How about now, my delightful pals? Is that better? Is that better? Bunny needs to drop down.
Oh yeah, I'm still out.
All right. Well, how about that? Okay. Test. X1 says better. Yes. Thank God. Yes. Excellent. Okay. Okay. Listen, Simon Coey, thank you for the super chat, says, hi, everybody on Madhouse. I came from the Becky Boop show. You goddamn right you did, Simon. It's wonderful to have you here. I hope you enjoy your stay here in the Madhouse. It is very clear you need a great deal of help from Miss Bunny Button specifically because she is a therapist extraordinaire. You goddamn right. That's right.
That's true.
And Carl, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. We appreciate that very much. It is very generous, very courteous, very kind. Thank you for supporting the show, sir. And then, oh, Lord, have mercy. Tickle me, Jesus. We are living with 20 goddamn gift memberships from good Sir Mish. Mish, thanks so much for that.
Thank you.
We very, very, very much appreciate it as always, Mish. Mish, you are the cream in my vagina. Glock loaded. Welcome to Diet Soda Soldiers, buddy. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And of course, K-Nubs, thank you for the gift membership. You guys are doing the Lord's work. Thank you guys very, very much. You guys are awesome. Now, let's talk about pornography. Okay? So we did a Madhouse art contest. And I haven't done the results yet, but it'll go up very, very soon. Octalong, wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for being a supporter of the show. Cold Calypso for 1 month. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
And okay. So, okay. And in that, I want to say it was one of our members was doing this really cool unicorn art, and she sent it to me, and I said, oh, I want to try it. ChatGPT would not let me use her prompt. And she said, no, you have to use this thing called Perchance. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I went over to Perchance, and I had never seen an AI that had no guardrails. I have like Grok, and I have ChatGPT, and I have Perplexity, but I had never heard of Perchance. And I'm like, you're telling me I can ask it to make anything? And it's like, yep, what would you like, sir? And I'm like, one order of Taylor Swift, please. And I really did. I'm not going to sit here and try. I'm not going to pretend that I'm some kind of, moral guy. I'm just like, I'll do it right now for you. I'll do it online. I basically said, put Taylor Swift in a Spider-Man bikini and have her swinging over New York City. That was what I wanted to see. And it was no fuss. I mean, I didn't masturbate to it. Wink. It was no fuss. It was no muss. It just did the job. And so obviously it got me thinking, and I don't know if you guys saw this about a year ago when a lot of these football fans were upset with Taylor Swift because she was dating that Kelsey, or still is Kelsey, what his name is. And they were doing a lot of porn, and sort of her getting fucked by the other. It was, pretty hardcore shit. And it kind of opened up this discussion about, is that okay? And suddenly it's like, we have to take this down, and this isn't okay, and blah blah blah. So let me. I'm going to do this while we're talking. Let's see. I'll do a cinematic, because you can pick. Here, I'll just show you on the screen real quick. I'll do a cinematic version of...
Are we making porno now?
It's not porno.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Bob.
Please.
Okay, now wait a minute. Can you guys hear... I don't know if they can hear you now. Hang on. Let me bring this over to this screen. This is why I hate doing this on Discord. Discord's a big pain in the fucking ass. All right, here we go. There we go. Okay. So here it is right here.
I think we're good.
We're good.
All right. Now, I see in the chat, somebody says Jaffe came back to the future to fuck up the stream because he thought this was a bad idea. I want to talk about this. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't do it. I'm fascinated by the moral debate of this, right? So watch this. So if I say, Draw me Taylor Swift in a Spider-Man bikini, swinging over NYC, carrying a sexy, what's that girl's name she likes? Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez in one arm. And what's your dude, Gerard Butler, with a Speedo wearing, because I don't want to do any nudity. How do you spell it? Gerard Butler.
Gerard.
Gerard Butler in her. No, she can't have two arms because she's swinging. Clinging to her legs. Okay. Now, here we go. Now, I'm going to take it off the screen just in case, but it should be pretty good. And it's generated.
I'm excited.
I know. I got to get rid of that fucking thing. I'm so sorry, you guys. Anyway, so while we're waiting, it's super fucking fast. Your safety settings have blocked it. I can change my settings. Not a problem. Disable the filter. And we're now... Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, it's... Okay. Okay. It's not as good, I would say, as ChatGPT, but it's fast and it gets the job done. Let me... I don't see Gerard Butler or Selena Gomez, but I'll show you what I got. Here's what came up. And then
What a crumb.
I know. I guess if I really cared, wink, I could spend a lot of time with it. But, it's kind of amazing, though. It's kind of amazing. And obviously, it's only going to get better. And I, for one, I spend about $100 a month on AI subscriptions to like Chat and Grok and all this shit. I, for one, kind of very much appreciate the fact that they're not coming at me with fucking, guardrails. I'm like, I can fucking take care of myself. I don't need you to. But here's the bigger question, though, right? Here's the main reason I bring this up is, so, I am aware, we were talking, okay, that is hopefully the last time we'll ever have to put up with that fucking thing. I am aware of the, we were talking the other night about erotica, literotica, tech said he wrote for her in the past. There's fan fiction. Yeah. So why is this creating such a problem for people when they say, okay, this is a bridge too far. You can basically take your ex-girlfriend and you can feed it into this and you can put her in any kind of compromising position, blah, blah, blah. Well, how is that different than you fantasizing about her? Or how is that different than you writing a story about her?
I think because when you write something, it's just words. You got to imagine it in your head. But when you go and create a prompt and generate a picture, you're making an actual thing that can be spread around. And
but the
do you
words
think you should be allowed as an artist? Yeah, like do you think as an artist you shouldn't be allowed to like paint a portrait of your ex naked?
Yeah, you should be able to paint. I'm not saying that there should be any kind of restrictions on what you can create. I'm just saying I think that's where the difference is when somebody writes something, exactly, the person that it's about didn't write it themselves. But the picture, it could get spread, if it's really good, especially, it could get spread around as if it's real, and it can cause real problems for somebody.
Okay, well, wait a minute. So let's assume that the only law that exists is if you make something with a real person with AI, there has to be a stamp on it to make it clear it's not real. Then is it okay?
I don't know.
Socially okay? I think it should be okay.
Well, I'm just saying what really, I understand what Bunny is, legally speaking, I don't know. I think some states already have laws against this. Maybe I'm wrong about that, and that probably would run afoul of the First Amendment. I don't know. But I understand your emotional response to it. And you're saying, well, words are different. I have to read, I have to imagine it. Clearly Taylor Swift didn't write fan fiction about her fighting the Green Goblin, whatever. Ooh, one moment, I'll be right back. But fundamentally, though, that's just your own personal response to words versus images. But it's still fans going, I want to create something that's titillating, and whether they share it or not. So, I understand if you're Taylor Swift, you don't like this. Why would anybody like this? I get it. But, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I agree with Carl in the chat who says AI picture should have a very small watermark to show that it's AI. I guess the question is, says Flongle, if we made AI art of Jaffe and Tech making out, would I approve? I would not want to see it. I would have zero interest in...
I approve.
Okay, fine. But I would have zero interest in supporting it and championing it and going, you got to see this. But
it'd be hard to masturbate to, but I think I could.
Well, but I mean, you know, that you've got a world record. You've masturbated to like the way they make chicken nuggets. I mean, that was like no one's ever pulled that off. I know. But no, so I guess the question is, maybe Tech just put up a poll real quick. It doesn't sound like when the Taylor Swift shit went down with the Kansas City Chiefs, there was a lot of noise about this. This is a problem. We have to get rid of these, and all the internet sites took them down and all this shit. And that's fine. If you have a company and you don't want to post that shit, fine. But I don't think it should be illegal. And frankly, you guys have seen how amazing the new text prompt to video prompt is. We're years away from being able to have. But it won't be that long before it's incredibly easy for the layperson to go into like a porn site and go, here's a picture of my ex-girlfriend. She dumped me, but I still want to have virtual sex with her. Make her for me, make her do all this stuff, make her look like this picture. And you know what? And I say, awesome. As long as they're not making money off the look at the face, look at the bunny face, what's happening?
And no, there's just something that just don't feel right about it. There's just something that feels very
hot,
wrong.
Okay, but
I don't know. And also I think it's a real dangerous line of like, if the wrong people decide they want to use the wrong age group for that.
I know exactly what you're saying, but I'm not talking about distributing it. I'm not talking about making money on it. I know, but still,
I don't know, even just for private, there's something about it that I don't know, it don't feel right. Well, but I don't really.
Okay, but why is it different? Wait a minute. Why is it different than me closing my eyes, or not even just having a fantasy on my own? Why is it different than me having sex with my current girlfriend and thinking about my previous girlfriend? People do.
I understand
that
there should be no. Yeah, I get that, but for some reason it does still feel wrong.
Oh, okay.
Something about it just feels
intellectually, wrong. You get that there's no.
Yeah, I get that there's really no difference between like just thinking about it and then generating a picture and keeping it to yourself, but. I don't know.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Tech, what you got?
Yeah, so speaking about, fucking people imaginarily or whatever. Jojo D with $20. Okay, I'm here. Jaffe is as fucked up as ever.
Yep.
I don't really know Bunny, and I want to. And you are talking about AI, and I love doing AI. Hang on. Also, you gifted 5 memberships as well.
Thank you very much, Jojo D, for the big super chat and the memberships. Jojo D, my friends, got a raise at work today. He was on our Discord, and he posted a picture.
Congratulations, Jojo.
He posted a picture of his envelope, and it said his name on it. And he says, I thought I was fired. His boss said, come see him. And then he went to his boss. He says, you're getting a raise. You suck dick good, Jojo D. You're a good dick sucker. I think that's his job. I don't know if that's true. But yeah, good job, Joe. Congrats, buddy. And but Joe has actually gotten permission and taken images of the women at his work and made AI movies about them. Obviously, that's with their permission. But I'm saying that this will not be stopped. I mean, the fact is, the technology's out there. And, forget the stuff that you're talking about when you're saying certain age groups. That, of course, is its own kettle of fish. Well,
I have a question about that.
Yes.
Because I think Bunny has a very big issue with it. In, like, the Japanese... anime community, right? There's a lot of what they call like lolly stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh yeah, well we're familiar with that.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you're familiar, but
I'm familiar. It's basically the way they get away with underage stuff, right? Because it's a witch and she's 300 in the lore, but she looks like she's 12.
Yeah,
that stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm not cool with that either.
No, I'm not either.
There's recent news, like a couple months ago, a state in the U.S. Said that depictions of any lolly stuff is also going to be considered child pornography, and they're banning it from their state.
Who said this? Who said this?
I have to look into it, but I'm pretty sure this was like a law that was passed in the U.S.
My guess would be they will have a very difficult time proving that can not run afoul of the First Amendment, but maybe. I mean, look, you guys know my take on all this kitty shit, which is I think it's awful, tragic, blah, blah, blah. Of course, I also think that whatever we can do to keep the kids safe, and I'm not saying technology proves this, I don't think it does, but if we have the study to prove that that would actually keep people off the streets from hurting real kids, I'd pay tax dollars to make it happen, because I want the actual kids safe is what I want. But I don't think there's evidence to show that. Wouldn't this kill sex work as a business, says Derek? If everything is AI, as real people could no longer monetize. Sure, but AI is going to kill every business anyway. But I mean, you know, porn is probably already killing a lot of IRL sex work, I would imagine. I don't know I don't know if that's true. I don't know what the stats are.
I mean, yeah, there's a good bit of girls that use AI now, especially with the trends like the Down syndrome.
Oh my
AI
God!
girls
the
and stuff
AI
like
filter.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting wild out there. Period.
I found out one of my friends online is subscribed to an OnlyFans account that he did not know was AI.
Oh, really? That's pretty good. Well,
and
there you go.
They didn't
Fuck, I'm going to make one of those.
There's this one girl that's been real controversial for years, like way before the hype of AI, where she was using a filter that would make her face look like a child's face. And she was like a 40-year-old woman. And yeah, like it's been crazy for a while, but now with AI, it's getting even crazier.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we really should have solved the problems before this got out of control. We should have figured out, hey, how do we protect our kids? But now let's just hope that this does, when you're talking about the kid stuff, let's just hope that this does keep those people at a higher percentage inside versus motivating them to want to go outside after they've gotten their yayas off and move on with their fucking weird fantasies and stuff. Jaffe, do you think there should be an age of consent, says Final Chicken, for old people? Like you can't have sex with someone older than 80. No, but that's only because you're saying that they could be like not mentally there is what you're saying? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, if I think then you get into the whole driving thing, then I think here's what I think. I think
it's a politician thing.
Yeah. Well, I think there should be a test, and I hate to say it, and I know it sounds terrible, and I'm not this age yet, and maybe it'll feel terrible when I get to this age to think about this. But when I think about, okay, once you hit 70, the markers to show you are becoming maybe more and more dementiated. If that happens to you, it doesn't happen to everybody. You need to take every 2 years, you have to take a test, and that determines if you can drive. That determines if you can do X, Y, Z. But the sex thing, I don't know.
No, I agree with that.
But actually,
an age limit for politicians for sure.
Of course, there should be, but there won't. Yeah, but there won't be.
70 years old.
Whatever.
That's it.
But there won't be. Because the politicians
60 years old.
All right. Nobody, I think you would find very few people disagreeing with that. You would find very few people disagreeing with the fact that voting should be a national holiday, or it should go over an entire weekend and start on Friday and everyone gets the day off. Hell, I think President's Day should be moved to the first November and Tuesday of election years. And that's President's Day. And that's when we all get the day off and we can go vote. If you want to, of course.
Why aren't we doing it like that?
We've tried over and over and over and over and over. And there's one party, and I'm not going to get political with you guys, but there's one party that historically has voted it down. I wonder who they are, but it's exactly who you think. But that has been proposed numerous times throughout the last 20 years, 30 years. So are geriatrics even able to truly consent? Remember what happened with the Katy Perry law? What is the Katy Perry law? Katy Perry's not a geriatric?
Well, she does love snatching up homes of geriatrics.
Katy Perry's taking old people's homes?
Yeah, there was this one old
Fuck
man
that bitch. I
sh-
thought her only thing was that she worked with Dr.
Yeah.
Luke, and that was why everybody hated her.
No,
What's going on with
she like
this?
stole an old man's house. This was like maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
She was doing a deal with this old man that was apparently like on his deathbed and wasn't in his right mind, and her family fought back against her to get the house back.
And what happened?
I think they got it back. I think they did.
I thought she kept it.
Did she wait? Did
Or
she?
I
Did
have to look
she
it up.
know that he was
Yeah.
not in his right mind?
It was so apparent. It was so
Apparently,
apparent.
yeah, it was like he was not there.
I think during one of the conversations when they were negotiating the price for the house, he was like, I think he spent 12 minutes talking about how oranges are like the best fruit for people to eat for life and stuff. He was just going off like, and you know, a mandarin might do, but an orange will get you there.
Okay, but wait a minute. Since when does a celebrity at the level of Katy Perry go and negotiate her own fucking house prices anyway?
Well, when
mean-
you're trying to get like a $12 million house for $1 million.
No. What was the deal? Go look it up.
It was something crazy. It was
Yeah.
like the house was worth way more than what like they got to steal.
Soda says she also
My
likes...
uncle.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, well, thank you. You're so cordial. My uncle managed to do that with all my grandma's property and stuff. Like when she was losing it and she definitely was not in her right mind, he got her to sign everything over to her, and nobody got anything except for my dirty, rotten uncle.
I don't know how you could do anybody like that, let alone your fucking family. I don't understand.
Mm.
Roadkill,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the gifted membership, buddy. We appreciate it very, very much. Yeah, Katy Perry's fucked. I saw her in concert. I saw her during the California Girls tour. We took the kids. She was awesome. And I think she wrote or co-wrote a lot of her music. And it was like, holy shit, this woman knows hit. And now she really can't get arrested. Her music's not bad, but I don't know if you've seen some of the footage of her in concert. It looked.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, you watch Taylor Swift. She goes for 3 hours for 3 years on that Eras tour, all over the world, and every night it's like she's running a marathon. And Katy Perry's just like,
But she still can't dance, though. We can all all
yeah,
agree
but who
there,
gives
right?
it? Yeah, well, oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well. You know.
But that's what everybody's making fun of Katy Perry for too. They're making fun of that she can't dance.
I don't think they're making fun of that she can't dance. I think it's that they're making fun of what low effort that she's putting into it, right?
Yeah, because she could dance. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. I've seen her live years and years
I want
ago.
to see Katy Perry. Katy Perry concert footage. I guess I'll just write cringe. It looks like it had a really cool idea. It was like science fiction and space and stuff.
Yeah,
But now it's
it looked like a lot of production went into
Yeah.
it, but no choreography.
Now I'm trying to see. Let's see what is she doing here? Hang on. Okay, here we go. This is her performance. Here we go. Let's just watch a second of it. Okay, 1 second. Scene 2. Here's Miss Katy Perry. Oh my god, that can't be real. That's got to be fake. Oh wait, you guys
showing it
can't
on
see
stream?
it. Let me show it on stream. Yeah, hang on. All right, you see it now?
See you now.
This has to be. There's no way this is her voice.
That's real.
I'm his freak. I'm every woman he wants and needs. I'm his dream. I'm his drug. I'm every woman he wants so wet. I'm his boss. I'm that bitch. I'm every woman he knows exists. I'm his main. I'm his side. I'm every woman that's in his mind.
That's just a bad song.
Yeah, but she looks exhausted, right?
Yeah.
She's not. Her performance is shit. Her voice is shit. Again, that's fine. I mean, she's brought the world so much great music. If you like pop music, and I do, I'm not like shaming her, but I'm like, what the fuck? Did she not look at this and go, this isn't ready, you guys? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
like when you see Madonna out there at her age, just straight getting it.
That's right.
And then you see Kate, it's like, oh,
and it's okay to slow down, but she's not even that old,
Yeah.
though, you know?
no, yeah.
I don't get it. But anyway, she stole a guy's house, too. How much was the house, Tech, that she bought? Did you look that up?
Yeah.
Looks like
Here comes the
15.
lightning. Here comes the lightning. Sorry. All right, go ahead. It looks like it's how much?
15 million, but I think it was supposed to have sold for more. In addition, it looks like one of the issues was that there was previous conversations between the owner, who I think was the guy who started 1-800-Flowers.com or something like that,
Okay.
and his family about it becoming a rental property to like further their like, you know, revenue, like having like passive income and shit. So they had like multiple conversations between the family about it. He became essentially senile, and she swooped in and took the house from him. Like it was like, yeah, I'll pay you money right now. Boom.
And she paid how
And-
much? 12 million, but it was worth a lot more.
I think she paid about 15 million. But I think it's worth a little bit more.
Yeah,
like 18.
she's fine. And then she went off and did the Dr. Luke thing. At this point, yeah.
Yeah,
Paul
and
Middlecroft. Yeah, go ahead.
The Perry law, right, that they try to propose in California, or the Katy Perry Act, which Perry is PERRY, stands for Protecting Elder Realty for Retirement Years, right? It never got through, but California is trying to propose that to protect like the elderly in California.
Okay. Paul, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, while it might be wrong ethically, how can it be illegal? Even if it looks a lot like Taylor Swift by definition, it's not a picture of her. Well, again, let me look up if it is indeed. In fact, Tech, just look up, is it illegal to do deepfake porn? I know they're trying to make it illegal, but I don't know if it is yet.
If it is, it's probably clumped in with revenge porn or something.
How do you distinguish between revenge porn and deepfake?
Well, revenge.
I think
porn-
it's just if you post it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So currently, the only limitations are something called the Take It Down Act, which makes non-consensual publications of authentic or deepfake sexual images a felony. It's considered a digital forgery.
Okay,
of a
so if
person's
you
likeness.
publish it, that's where you cross
Yeah.
the line.
Yeah, but it's not every state. Looks like California, Indiana, Louisiana, Minnesota, New York.
All right,
Some other countries have that established since 2023, like
Yeah.
the UK, China, but for the US, it's not a lot.
I
It turns out
absolutely support that. I mean, I'm down with that. You shouldn't be able to publish it, make money off of it, any of that shit. But if you want to make it on your own fucking computer, leave me the fuck alone. I'm making Taylor Spider-Man Swift.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, it's the risk of posting it though, and you know the comments. The person in the picture didn't sign up for
Right.
people to
Yeah.
talk
Do you think
about
if
it
you
like that.
if you did it by hand on like paper and pen, like paper and pencil, right?
Would it run
You think
afoul of
that
the
should
law? Because that's not. No, that would not. Because it's the way the reason the law works is it's a forgery, right? That's the reason. It's that you're
Yeah.
frauding somebody out of their money or their time. It's not the fact that
Yeah.
you've done the work.
Well, because the language of the law is saying specifically it's the publication of authentic or deepfake sexual images. So if I draw nice enough, am I now a deepfaker?
I imagine if you put something out there with the intent of making people think it was real and it's clearly good enough that
Yeah.
it could be, then yeah, I would imagine you would run afoul of that law. As you should. If you put it out and say, I drew this, go with God is what I would fucking say. But that's what I would say, Paul. Let me ask you this too, real quick, before we move on from this. Because I notice this now when I see Kate, and I am an old man, you guys. I am days away from being able to benefit from the Katy Perry law, right? That's how fucking old I am. But so I get it. I get when you get old, you get stodgy and conservative. I am not stodgy. I don't think. I'm certainly not conservative. And I have no problem with people's freak flags flying. I have no problem with overt sexuality. I think it's great. But I cannot not notice, and I don't like it, and I don't know why I don't like it. Maybe it is because I'm old. But all of the pop stars recently, everyone from like Katy Perry right? To, I was watching a video the other day of Chris Brown on stage, and he brings this woman up on stage, and he's literally just like, he's not even like simulating groin. I mean, he's not fucking her, but he is full on contact with his groin and her groin and kissing her neck and all this shit. And Katy Perry looks like
yeah,
she's
they've been doing
wearing,
that.
but it's like, is that, do we like that? I mean, we must, I suppose. I mean,
Sex sells.
Jeffy's vanilla again.
I am not vanilla. I am not opposed to it. They have every right to do it. I'm just saying that it.
Yeah.
And I'm not like one of these guys. Like back in my day, they used to play their own instruments. Blah blah. I like pop music. I even like AI music. I like performances. I'm not opposed to a singer who's out there being sexual, and that might be their shtick. But all the vast majority of the women are out there. And it's like, this is ridiculous. I mean, is this what she, again, if this is what she wants to do, and this is part of the expressing her art, I'm all for it. But does she?
It don't feel authentic coming from her.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, like,
yeah, it feels like she's just sort of like working and going through the moves and the motions, and it just feels uncomfortable, you know?
yeah.
I don't know. Did you see the Chris Brown stuff when he was doing it? Let me see. Chris Brown.
I was about to say, yeah, Usher's been doing.
Oh my God,
they've all been-
it's just weird, man.
all done that for years.
It's just this is from June 11th. I was like, and I'm just like, dude. I mean, I guess they go out to the audience and say who wants this. They're not going to just pull somebody up, but I don't know. It just
Wasn't it a Chris Brown concert where like one lady got pulled up and then he started doing this and she's like, I'm married, stop. Was that not Chris Brown?
I don't know if it was
Remember
Chris
this?
Brown, but it was somebody, and it's just kind
It
of
was,
like,
yeah, I remember
and,
that.
and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. What do I know? I'm an old dude. I get it, but it just kind of feels a little strange. It feels a little fucking strange. Then
Ain't
again,
he like scared of catching mono or something? Like, I don't know.
maybe she's like one of those. Maybe she's part of the tour. And
Chris Brown. I don't know if about catching mono. Maybe catching like a left hook.
yeah, I tell you what, if I'm Chris
Yeah, that's
Brown,
true.
I'm like, I wouldn't get near a goddamn woman because he's got some. I'm sure maybe he's better. I don't fucking know. Who cares? Let's move on. Look, Tech, you're the youngest person here. And ask the chat too. Put up a poll. I want to know: do you find the overt sexuality of pop musicians today too far, or B, shut up, Jaffe, you're old? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to fucking know. I don't care. Because I am very curious about it. Because it seems weird. Although I do like the Sabrina Carpenter. That has, because as we talked about the Sabrina Carpenter album a few weeks ago, the album cover, a lot of people have, rightly so, talked about it because that's what she wanted, and it's so clear to me that is her. She's not a moron. She's a very smart person. It is intentionally evocative. It is meant to create discussion. I don't think she is debasing herself at all. I think she's totally playing into the capitalist machine. And in that, she's making bank, and she's like, yeah, go fuck yourself. I'm going to, I'll do what the fuck I want to do. I don't know. It pisses me off. The offensive part is none of them do it as well as Madonna already did it. Madonna didn't do it to anyone else, though. And again, Madonna back in the day, like Laura is okay says that's her shtick. Yeah, Madonna's shtick for at least a long time was I'm the overt sexual one. Oh, okay, cool. But you didn't see all of them coming out and doing it.
Yeah, there's not as much variety anymore. I feel like, they're all just cutouts of the same sex doll.
I guess you have to be though now. I mean, that world sounds awful. If I was a singer, musician, I would do indie shit all the goddamn day long. Don't forget, Tech, I don't know where we're at with the money, but don't forget, Final Destination, 40 members. And we won't go extra. We'll go over to the Discord. We got there. Holy shit. You guys are amazing. So if you want to watch Final Destination Bloodlines, and I didn't say this, you didn't hear me say it, there's a Discord you might know about, a wink, where we can watch that right after we wrap up tonight's show. Rockstar says Ecto, especially in the 70s, would leave little to the imagination about their gear they were packing. No, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Tiny Taco says societies in decline become overly sexual. That's a historical fact. I don't know if it's a historical fact. Is it? Tech, look that up. Look that up. And more importantly, if it is a historical fact, my question becomes why is it a historical fact? That's what I would like to know.
I'll look it up, but it doesn't seem accurate.
Yeah. I mean,
society as a whole has become more liberal in every fucking country in the world as of like the last like 100 years.
So I was going to talk about this phone, but let's move. Well, no, fuck it. Let's talk about all I'm saying is I need a simple phone.
You're almost there.
I know. I just need a simple phone.
Get a Trump phone. That's a simple phone.
No, I'm trying to couple myself from the internet, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. We've already talked it to death. I'm just saying.
Wait, why?
Because I'm like, there's no solve to it.
You love the internet.
I love the internet, but I'm tired of being depressed by it, right? And if I went out in the world, I would have a phone like this because this is just like exactly the base shit that I need.
Oh, get him a jitterbug. Y'all remember them jitterbug phones?
Yeah.
For
They
the
still
old
have
people that
them?
had like 2 big buttons.
I don't need big buttons. I know how to work a fucking phone. I just don't want all I just don't want all the shit on it because it's distracting me. Okay.
I'll get you a jitterbug.
You know what phone Jaffe needs? It's fucking Life Alert. That's the.
You know what? You guys can go fuck yourselves. You guys can fuck yourselves.
Why do you want to be off the internet? You are blessed with the opportunity of having the internet in your pocket.
I hate
He wants a different internet.
I want a different kind of life. When I was out, where was I recently? I was out at the march, the protest this weekend. And I did not bring my phone because people who were organizing said, you can be a little paranoid if you want, but if you want to be a paranoid person, I wouldn't bring your phone because they can track you. And it's like, oh, Jaffe was at the protest. And I was just like, you know what? I didn't really worry about that. But my ex who went with me, she didn't bring her phone for that reason. I said, fuck it, I'll leave my phone behind. And it was so fucking nice to be out in that and just go out.
I love leaving my phone out. I let my phone die all the time. All the time. My phone's dead.
It's hard when you have kids, though. I can't do it when I'm out.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because I want to always be able to be there when they call. Sometimes I miss the call and I feel terrible. But yeah, did I what?
Honey, did you know that women who are what's the term I'm looking for? Not societally, not objectively, or like what's the term I'm looking for, Jaffe? Something pretty. Fuck, what is the term? Sarah says it all the time. Conventionally pretty. There you go. Women that are conventionally pretty, like 7s or above, are 3 times more likely to let their phones die.
Why was that ever a study?
I don't fucking know. But pretty girls let their phone die. That's it's a known thing apparently.
There you go. Be a pretty girl, Jaffe. Just let your phone die.
I wasn't even listening because I was looking at this that says, breaking, the official account of the Iranian news agency published a video with the caption possibly, which shows a mini nuclear warhead. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then they've also said, Iranian state media says there is a surprise coming tonight the world will remember for centuries. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit.
I miss when Persia was a state.
Okay.
I miss Persia.
Evanescence?
Matrix
99. I saw this. I don't think we've talked about this, but there was somebody who was posting this the other day, just briefly back to the phone thing, where they were talking about in the 90s, like the late 90s, they said there was like this gasp of sort of this existential, yearning to sort of what is real. And they talked about the Matrix. They talked about that Evanescence song, like Wake Me Up Inside. They went to like 4 or 5 or 6 things that were all like, these things are all in the pop culture, which means they're in the zeitgeist and people are clearly resonating, or this message is resonating with people, which is, are we asleep to our lives? What is going on? And then the very next year, the smartphone comes out and all of that gets washed away. And I understand that so much of what I say has to be viewed through the filter of, again, when I say I'm an old guy, I don't really feel like I'm an old guy. But in the sense that I've lived long enough to know that there is that bias of going, things were better back in my day. And I don't think things were better or worse back in my day, whatever, it's its own thing. But I do think about, going back to this phone thing, I do think about just that idea of being out there for that march or that protest or whatever. And it was really fucking nice. And I don't want to push that on anybody else. If nobody else wants that, that's fine. But I can just tell you for me, I absolutely loved being out there and even being a little bored and just sitting and going, well, I can't immediately go to my phone. And I was a fan. So wait, go back to the pretty girls thing with phones. What did you say?
Apparently, pretty girls are more likely to let their phones die. The
Why?
prettier the girl, the more likely they are to just not notice their phone being at like 2%.
Because they're stupid, or because they? Oh, I
I
know
don't
what
know.
it is. I bet I know
You
what.
can't be pretty and smart.
I'm saying that I assume that would be the. But I think I know exactly what it is. If that's a true stat, if it's a true stat, I think what it is that pretty privilege. Like if I get out in the world and I'm lost, I'm fucked in a lot of ways. I can eventually find somebody at a gas station that will tell me how to find the 405. But a pretty woman, or I assume a pretty guy, but certainly a pretty woman, she can get almost anything she wants. I'm hungry. Okay, here's $10. I'll buy you a sandwich.
With that.
All right.
I disagree with Jaffe as well.
You guys
Yeah,
go
I
to hell.
disagree
Why
with
do you
that.
disagree with that?
Because I have been in a situation where I was lost up on a mountain. I took somebody somewhere they needed to go up on a mountain, and then my phone died on the way down, and I got lost, and I had to stop by a gas station. I was almost out of gas. Literally nobody would help me get back. I just needed to follow
But
somebody down off the mountain.
Wait. What do you mean nobody would help you? You went in and you said what?
I said, I need to get off this goddamn mountain. I don't know which way to go to get down. And I was like, if anybody's going that way. And there was people telling me they didn't want me following them. And it wasn't like I was like sketchy. I was like dressed normal and
But could you?
was acting
but they
normal,
didn't tell
but-
you. Couldn't they just tell you? Oh, well, here's what you do.
they were trying. It was very confusing getting off of that mountain. It wasn't like easy. But I did eventually, I stayed there for a couple hours, and eventually a trucker that was picking up a lady friend, they let me follow them down off the mountain. Yeah. He was fine with it. He was like, yeah.
They thought it's
More
like,
girls, the better.
come on down. You got, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
I disagree with Jaffe for a different reason.
Why?
I feel like if you were ever lost anywhere, there'd be a Boy Scout looking to get their badge to escort, like, the elderly man home. All right, I feel like you are approachable, like a summer Santa Claus.
Oh, it's summer Santa.
Okay.
Half Christmas in July.
You goddamn right. Listen, I have a question. Schwarzenegger goes on The View today, and this is for both you guys, but certainly Tech, because I've heard him praise America. And here's what he says. They ask about the ICE raids and stuff, and I'm not going to play the whole clip. It's really long.
So the beautiful family.
But I want to. This is this talking point about America, and as a guy who has grown up day one in America, lived on both coasts. I haven't traveled everywhere, but I've been enough places. I'm familiar with it. I follow politics. I've never understood this, what he's about to say. But Tech clearly feels this way. And I just think, I don't understand. Here we go.
I mean, in no other country in the world could you do that. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity.
Okay. What? Not to kind of repeat the newsroom opening, but there's all those things he just said you can do in almost every Western country in the world. And I'm not saying America doesn't deserve its props for a variety of things. It does. And I'm not saying America is evil, although its hands aren't clean. But where does this come from? Like, do you agree with him that because of America, he got to do all this? But if he had come to Europe, if he had come to England, or he had been in Germany or France, he wouldn't? I mean, what is he talking about?
I think maybe just because he is somebody who came from somewhere else and this was the experience he had, maybe that's just what he's saying from his own lived experience.
Okay. But
I think the fact that he was able to get into Hollywood and become an actor and then take that into like a political career was because he was in America.
Why? You're okay. So unlike, for example, the president of Ukraine, who was an actor and then went into a political career, it's what, Ukraine and America are the only places you can do that?
Well, America's the best place to do that. Best place.
I'm okay.
Also, the Ukrainian president was born in Ukraine, lived in Ukraine, stayed in Ukraine.
well, he can't. Well, Schwarzenegger can't be president.
Where's he from?
Well, he's from Austria, but he can't be president.
You think he'd be a fucking movie star in Austria?
I don't know, but you must know what I'm saying. You must
I
understand.
hear what you're saying, but he's.
I get what you're saying.
I mean, and again, I'm not saying we shouldn't. I don't know if you should be proud of your country or not. I mean, what the fuck do I? It's a country. I didn't do anything. I'm paying taxes. That's about all I do, and vote. But end of the day, though, it just seems weird to be patriotic for any country, and it certainly seems weird to buy talking points where you've got someone. And I like Schwarzenegger. I was a fan of him, for most of the time I was aware of him, but I don't understand this sort of rah-rah America. Like nowhere else in the world could I have this experience. Yeah, you could. You could have it in lots of other places in the world. I just think it's bullshit. Jaffe, stop playing on the words. He's saying that because he came to America, all this happened in the USA. That is all. It's not all, though, Willie. He's literally saying that this country made it possible because it's America. He's not just saying... yeah, go ahead.
That could just be the way he feels about it, though.
Of course, but
he's just being honest, and that's just the way he feels about it.
Okay, and I'm asking you, is that a dumb thing to feel because it's not based in any fact?
I don't think any feelings are a dumb thing to feel.
Okay, well,
if you're being honest with the way you feel, I wouldn't say it's dumb.
Okay,
it may not resonate with you the same way it does with him.
That's a different thing, though. Okay, I would agree with you that here is a ball of facts, right? And I feel this way about the ball of facts, and you feel this way. Neither way is wrong to feel. I agree. But we can't agree on if the ball of facts is accurate, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm talking about the statements he's making and implying that only in America could this have happened. And that's why it's the greatest country. I'm sure he can feel that, of course. I support his right to feel that. But do you believe that only in America this could happen? Like, aren't there lots of countries where his story could occur? There's nothing unique about America.
I get what you're saying, but I also feel like you're looking too deep into it when he was...
Well, we're in a country...
I don't think he was necessarily trying to put any other country down by saying that.
I'm not saying... I'm not...
the country that he feels gave it to him.
And I would say his specific story would only happen in America. Like, to join like the bodybuilding competitions that he joined in is an American thing. To join Hollywood at the height of like popularity that he got to.
Okay, but that's not about our political system or value system. That's just like, for me to be in video games, it only would have happened at that sweet spot where I was able to be a tester and then a designer because the games were cheap back then and they could take chances. That doesn't mean that America built some amazing system that only in America would that opportunity be available. And the reason I bring it up, by the way, it's not when you say, I think you're looking too deep into it. I'm not just trying to pick apart the guy's words because I'm being a dick. It is because it is one of the propaganda manipulation tactics that get used on people to get them to go to war, to get them to vote for things, to get them to acquiesce when other people are being treated poorly because, they're not real Americans. And so to me, I don't know. I think there's value in questioning these things. I think, I was very proud when both my kids said, or at least, I don't know if Sarah ever said it, but Calvin was like, I didn't stand up for the pledge. And I said, okay, well, why? And he says, because I have the right not to. And that's the most patriotic thing I can think of is to say, I choose to not stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. And some of his classmates were furious with him, but I was proud of him. I'm like, I don't think kids should be indoctrinated in that shit. Just like religion, right? I mean, if you come to an American sense of patriotism out of your lived experience, I think that's wonderful. If you come to really believe in the baby Jesus or the Yahweh or the Muhammad out of your lived experience, I think that's wonderful. But to be raised from, 3 years old to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then you're like, I'm a patriot. It's like, well, you're maybe, but would that have happened if you hadn't been, indoctrinated by that shit in any country, not just America?
Hello, America.
Smoke Alusia says, don't use your kids as scapegoats. Their protest isn't yours. I don't. I'm just telling you a fucking story. See, this is what's funny. Darth Nugget says, by the way, if you are new to Madhouse, this is what it is sometimes. I don't need, I enjoy healthy debate and discussion. That's not what we see in Darth Nugget's chat, though. He says, such a freshman high school mindset. What you should do is follow that up and say, and here's why. But just attacking my position doesn't make you right. It just makes you annoying, Darth Nugget. Tell me why it's a high school mindset. You are right, Jaffe, not being an American. I can agree that I am not a U.S. patriot. What the hell kind of argument is this? I don't really know what you're saying. I think it's funny how the least oppressed people are always the biggest America haters. I don't hate America. It's a country. I don't anything America. It just is, and I believe very much in the ideals of America, and I also think that other countries share those ideals. What, you think we're the only democracy on the planet? But I also
I think I just realized something.
What's that, my friend?
Are both of your parents from America?
Yes.
Okay. Tech's dad's not from America. My dad's not from America. I wonder if maybe that weighs in on our differences.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah. I like America because it's the best place for living. Just like a life, just like choosing what outcome you want to have in your life feels like the best opportunities to have.
Okay, speak to that practically. Why do you have a better chance? And I'm saying you're wrong, but educate me on this. Why do you have a better opportunity being in America if you want to be a songwriter than if you want to be a songwriter and you live in the UK?
Well, okay. So the idea I'm putting out there is you have more options and more consistent routes to get to those options in the U.S. versus anywhere else.
Give me an example.
Specifically for songwriting, our biggest music studios in the world are American, right? Most people
they're conglomerates
the planet,
that are all over the world.
Yeah, well, no, they're American-based companies, right? The top music charts of other countries have American artists on them. Right, that is just a standard everywhere. Some of the top songs in Japan right now are American songs, right? Yeah, and that's crazy. They don't even speak English, right? It's
okay. So what you're saying is you're saying American culture is the dominant entertainment culture, and in that, if you want to work in entertainment and you want to have the biggest chance of success using the biggest footprint, you will.
Yeah, specifically for entertainment. Yeah, but like if I grew up wanting to be like,
we're talking. I just want to take songwriting because it's just a specific thing. I mean, forget the fact that the Beatles and forget the fact that the Who and forget the fact that the Rolling Stones.
That's not my argument here.
Okay.
Also, they were published by American like fucking record companies. That made them popular.
Eventually, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
I mean Virgin. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
One in 1,000. Anyways, the point I'm making is, if you're born in some bumfuck town, USA, somewhere in Nebraska, right, and you wanted to, let's say for some reason, be a physicist, right? Yeah. You probably have a decent opportunity if you had the drive to become a physicist.
Okay, you're right.
If I was born in some bumfuck town in Russia, I probably don't have the same chances.
I don't think anybody's comparing Russia to America, but of course. But if you're born in the UK, you certainly do. If you're born in France, if you're born in Germany, if you're born in one of the Nordic countries, you certainly do.
Yeah, but if I was born in the UK and I wanted to be a race car driver,
you'd be an F1 race car driver probably.
Yeah, but I feel like the opportunity to do so in the US in almost every job market, because our economy and our work field, I'm forgetting the word. I'm tired. Our economy and our workforce is so robust, right, and so established, and especially the training to get to them, that it's just the best place to be.
Okay, well, let's move
on.
I
like our social programs. I think the U.S. does good for its people.
I don't know if I agree with that, but okay.
I don't think I agree with that
one. Here's a better question, says Split Fries. If you're an immigrant, why would you pick the richest, best, most free country? why would you not pick the richest, best? Well, your best is subjective. Most free is subjective. So I don't really know. But again, if I could go anywhere, if I were to be born today, I would try to make. There's a lot more about the Nordic countries that appeal to me and my mindset than right now in America. But I don't hate America. And that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing that I even have the conversation for. That's the reason I bring the conversation up, is it's almost like when we talk about the fucking pedophiles. There are these taboo subjects, these sacred cows, that you just cannot step on for people. And I'm like, I think we should be able to be incredibly critical of this country without having somebody say, well, if you don't like it, you should leave. It's like, no, bitch. If I don't like
That's your
it,
right to judge it. Yeah.
that's, there's a lot of things in this country that we didn't like and we changed them. That is one of the great things about a democracy. If you don't like it, you should leave, because guess what? It's going to be a lot of change. That's what a democracy does. I don't know what to tell you. Our Western countries don't encourage people to stand out like we do in America. Other Western countries, says Fairy Queen. I can't speak to that. I don't know if that is true. I mean, there are cities in America that do.
Oh, I think that's a claim to like the idea of like counterculture movements being more accepted by the populace in the United States than it would be like in a Nordic country like Sweden.
Oh, I think that's true. That's true. I don't think it's true
Yeah.
for the UK, of course. I mean, where do you think punk rock comes from? But yeah, I mean, sure. The Nordic countries, yes.
Yeah. I think the opportunity for advancements in culture happen in the U.S. better than anywhere else because of our diversity that we have as a Western country.
I would agree with that. Again, I'm not suggesting.
I'm a champion for diversity.
I am as well, and I'm a champion of democracy and our republic. But I also think that it's really fucking broken, and we have a lot of blood on our hands. Okay, where'd it go? Canada exists too, says Tyler. Exactly. Mystery Man says, I love you, but it sounds like you hate America. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know why it sounds like I hate America. I'm questioning America. I'm questioning and I'm critical of aspects of America. If that means I hate it, I guess it does. But I don't.
Let's make it super clear for everyone.
It's a country. I don't have any feelings.
Is America in your top 5 or top 10 or top 20 countries on the planet?
I don't have a listing of that. It's
Make one.
Is it S tier?
Is it S tier? Is America S tier?
I don't know. Here's my real answer. It depends on what you're talking about.
I'm talking about you. If you had to choose a country you would live in.
No, it depends on, come on, you're being, look.
Oh, it's so easy.
It's not easy.
What other country besides America would you live in?
I would live probably in Sweden, Norway, something like that.
Okay. What's next? Is it America?
I don't have enough experience with countries like the main European countries that, like, France. I've never been to France, the UK. My guess is probably one of those, maybe the UK. And then maybe in there would also be one or two South American countries that I hear are really good. And then I'm not saying America and Canada. Yeah, I don't hate America. I love the ideals of America. But I know,
but I'm saying where you would live.
I don't know, man. I can't give you that answer. You're asking for like a sort of pop psychology, and I'm talking about something that I take very serious. I can't give you that answer because my experience is so limited. I've been to Japan. Japan seems like a nice place to live. They seem pretty democratic over there. They seem like they work hard for at least a lot of their citizens to keep people safe.
Yeah. You're too prude for me. Mystery Man with $5. I'm also a right-wing Trump guy, but I respect that you and I have different views, David.
Yeah, me too.
Also, U.S. is a constitutional republic, not a democracy.
That's why, yeah, I get it. I know that. And frankly,
no, it's a democracy. What the fuck? Don't agree to that. That guy's fucking. You're not right.
He's absolutely right.
It's a democracy.
It is not a democracy. It's a republic. It is not a pure
democracy. It is a representative democracy.
It is a republic. A republic can be a democracy, but a democracy doesn't have to be a republic. Okay? So you can have a pure democracy,
Okay, it is a representative democracy, Jaffe.
Okay, all right. It's a republic, but fine.
This is no. What you're missing is you're not really in tune with a lot of like the political stuff going on right now. This is
Look, is America a democracy or a republic? Here's the answer. Okay, we're not a direct democracy. We are a representative democracy. But then it says we are also a republic. The people represent representatives to exercise power according to the Constitution. So let's agree that it's both and move on. Shall we?
Yeah.
We're both saying the same fucking thing.
I hear you, but the term classical republic constitutional republic is like used by the right now to kind of diminish the idea.
Okay, I don't care. I'm tired of these fucking people.
I hear you.
I'm tired of these fucking.
I'm about to start smoking weed.
I couldn't be a feminist because what generation feminist are you? Are you third wave feminist? It's like, shut up. I believe women and men should have equal rights. What does that make me? Whatever that makes me, put me in that dumb fucking bucket.
You're getting closer to Bunny's view on politics. I don't even care anymore. Just leave me alone.
I care a lot. I just sometimes look. Listen to this. Amazon says it will reduce. Let's talk about this seriously for a moment. Okay, well, no, let's move off. We'll get off politics for a moment. Let's talk about this this brain dead lady. Hear about this? Baby, the brain dead pregnant woman was born today. She's been in a vegetable. She went to the ER. The ER said, hey man, go home, you're good. She woke up the next morning, she could barely breathe, and her husband takes her in, and she goes into some kind of coma or whatever, and she's brain dead. Okay. Well, that's February. She has been brain dead on a ventilator since, what are we talking, almost 6 months? February, March, April, May, it's like 5 months. And because of the abortion laws in Atlanta, they couldn't take her off the ventilator because it would kill the baby. And so they allowed the baby to eventually be viable. It's still a really teeny tiny. I think it was like 1.5 pounds. It's in the it's a preemie, and I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, NICU.
But it is interesting. Like what do you, I mean, it's something really unsettling about this mother just sitting there being this sort of feeding farm for this baby. Now, the mother probably would have wanted that, right? If I could be a mom and I could get pregnant and I was a vegetable, I'd say, well, yeah, keep me alive, bring the kid to term.
Yeah.
But it is weird, though. It is weird how anybody but the husband got a say in this, and anybody but the husband had an opinion. How can we talk about things that matter without it being political? I don't want to get political all the time, but how do we talk about this?
So they didn't let the husband have a say?
I'm having a hard time knowing exactly what the husband wanted versus her family wanted. But I don't follow Atlanta politics. It's kind of a national story, but I wasn't able to really get, before we went live, where the big story for this was because the abortion law is so strict in Atlanta, they weren't able to even have a choice. So even if they did want to terminate her life because she was sitting there, I mean, let's say it would have been 8 months, or let's say 7.5 months, because it's 6 weeks abortion law. I don't know. There's something weird, man. I think these people. Yeah, Kelly says, I think Atlanta cutoff is 8 weeks. She was 9 weeks. So she basically carried most of the baby as a vegetable.
Here's a non-political hypothetical for you about this situation, right? If a man and a woman, they're married, right? But the woman has a degenerative brain thing. But before she's no longer sentient or conscious, whatever you want to call it, she says we're trying for a kid. My illness is not, be able to be passed down to my kids, right?
Right.
Even if I go brain dead or I'm no longer able to make my own decisions, I still want my husband to try having kids with my body.
I mean, that's interesting, but I would be opposed to it.
What?
If she made the decision.
I mean, okay, I get.
Okay. Then they'd say take her eggs. There's so many other ways to do that other than.
They say they want to do it that way.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, look, okay, I think there are other ways to do it, but let's say this. Let's say it's very interesting. There should be a weird it sounds like a trauma film, but there is a woman she's alert and cogent enough to say, my body is going to go offline. My brain is going to go offline.
Within a year.
But they can keep it alive indefinitely. It will age and it'll just be in this bed, and we have the money. And if you want to fuck my vegetable body, you know, and you want me to bring babies to term, I'm good with that. I think she should be allowed to fucking do that. Why not?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, can you
You think so,
imagine?
Brittany?
Yeah, it's their choice.
Yeah. Can you imagine fucking the vegetable lady, though? I mean, come on, man. Come on, man.
Well, some people go home to that currently.
Yeah, that's true. How's that different than
Yeah.
Sunday date night? That's fair.
So someone in the chat right now is like, yeah, that was Tuesday.
Yeah, I live that.
Cantanker says Jesus. It's an interesting. Come on, what do you mean Jesus? It's an interesting. It's an interesting topic. It's a fascinating scenario, man.
Yeah, it's good. This relates to a thing. I had this agreement with a friend of mine when I was like in high school still, I think.
Yeah.
Not this exact agreement, buddy. I saw your eyebrows raised.
Okay,
It's if I ever got into like an accident, like a car accident or something, or I fell down somewhere and I started to become brain dead, I'm sure there might be someone in my family who's like, well, let's keep it going till like let's maybe something changes. Who knows? And I told him like, nah. You find me, you pull the plug. I don't want to exist in like a brain dead state. Do you think if you're able to make a conscious decision about your future body's like existence, that should be respected, and after you lose that ability?
Yeah.
Javi's not paying attention.
I'm listening. I think my answer, I think it's obvious what I think. I don't think it would be, a surprise to you. My question.
Here's a follow-up.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, what's your answer? You think it should be respected?
Yeah.
The previous decision made. Okay, well then the follow-up question is, for how long? Because we all change as people. Like every 5 years, you're almost like a new person.
Yeah, but if you make a conscious choice and you know you're going to be out of it for the rest of your life, or your ability to communicate that, then that's the choice. The choice is you have to take into account that your mind might have changed, but you don't have that luxury, so you're drawing a line.
Yeah, but like I imagine the David Jaffe that existed as a person and how he would want his like body taken care of or whatever 5 years before having kids versus 5 years after having kids is a vastly different person.
Well, that's why ultimately I have a will and my ex has a will and all that stuff is written down in a will. So like, for example, me and M have a thing, even though we're not married anymore, although legally we are, that says if one of us is brain dead, I want a year. I want a year to try to fight my way back alive or awake. And maybe the doctors say you're a vegetable and that's fine, but I want a year because who the fuck knows? And after a year, you can let me go. That's in a will. Yeah. So she's never going to have to struggle with that. She has told me directly, and I'll say it here, and I will do it. I will break a law if it's illegal at the time. Her mom died of dementia, and it was awful. Awful. Her mom's body didn't know how to eat anymore, and she just rotted, not wasted, but rotted away in some of the best hospice and some of the best care we could afford, which was a decent amount. And she said, and it runs in her family. And she says, if I ever get to a point, I don't want to ever be that way. Well, and she didn't even ask me. I said, I'll take care of it. And she, I said, I'll take you out. I got a baseball bat. No, I would find a nice, sweet way to do it. Maybe a suicide pod, but I absolutely, and I would happily go to jail. If it's like, that's illegal, you go, fine, going to jail. I'll be the happiest motherfucker in jail in the world, sitting there reading my books all day, because I'd do it 1,000 times. And most people would, I think. Most people would.
Yeah, it's the stuff like that we're not allowed to do that makes me, when people say, oh, we're the most free country. Are we really, though? Because we can't decide what we put in our bodies without somebody telling us if we can or can't.
That's
can't decide what we do with our bodies when we're done with it.
We don't really get to know, because we have so much corporate lobbying, what is in our food. I know I don't like our I don't like our food at all. I don't like him at all. That's for you, Bunny baby. I don't like him at all, but I do think at least that part of his agenda, which is like, can we make things clear what people are putting in their fucking bodies is if he's able to pull that off, that's great. There is a lot of, we're so free. And when you really pin people down and go, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Like, well, are we really, it's like, well,
Yeah, the really big stuff to me, we're not allowed in that.
right. I mean, we're structurally free in that they could say, well, you could just vote somebody in that would do that. And it's like, yeah. But you know what? Citizens United comes along. The courts have basically said corporations can own everything, including our votes. And so technically we are free to do that, but you're going up, you're John Henry with the sledgehammer going up against the locomotive at that point. And it ain't happening for you. I would have somebody hide my body, says Sterling, in a wax museum and see how long till they figure it out. That's happened before. Nusu, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. We very, very much appreciate it. Okay. I want to show you this footage, historic footage. I don't know what I'm looking at. I know what I'm looking at, but I don't understand it. These are guys who came back from World War I, and this is where the term shell shock came from, but I don't really understand what I'm seeing. Like he's here, let me reach the caption first because it's not on the screen. Footage taken of World War I shell-shocked soldiers after returning home from the war. And that's all the context I really get. But like, why is he terrified of his hat?
Make sure you click the presentation thing on the Discord. You did it. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Why is he so scared of his hat? Is that because he thinks it reminds him of the war? Like what is what is now my understanding is some of this is because they were in the trenches and the bombs hit, their equilibrium is fucked up. And so that's where a lot of the shaking comes from.
Yeah. So shell shock came as like an introduction to when we were actually studying like the psychology of how stress affects you. And it's two parts, right? It's one part physical ailment and one part psychological ailment, where the actual concussive force fucked around with like parts of their inner ear or like their actual like they deprive them of like oxygen because the air got so fucking blasted out that they they lost like some brain capacity because they weren't breathing, right? They got knocked out. But also the PTSD.
Hallucinations a part of this?
Yeah, so again, like the compressive force of an explosion can cause your chest to like cave in, right? You just can't breathe, right?
Okay, but what is this we're saying? Is this the equilibrium part where he just can't stand because the concussive force kind of threw off his inner ear stuff, or is
this looks mainly like a physical reaction to being near an explosive, right? Like this is fucked though. I can't imagine.
Kind of looks like nerve damage.
Yeah, it's gonna be nerve damage. It's gonna be some deterioration of the brain, the other physical impacts from artillery shells.
I mean, this is the crazy shit too. Again, not to get political, but talking about America, talking about the parade over the weekend. Let's spend a lot more money on veterans. Let's do that. Let's spend our tax dollars on veterans and help them out. But we don't. You
know anyone with PTSD, Jaffe?
No, I don't. As far as I know. Well, I and LCU Ken apparently had it, and he got really upset with me because I was clearly joking with the guy.
He was in it for the money. I had an uncle who married into my family with my aunt, and his PTSD was really bad. He was communications.
Was she that bad?
No, he was in the army. He did communications work, and his Humvee got blown up by an IED, and it flipped over. Everyone else died but him. And so when they first did their first pass of inspection to see, like, is there anyone alive? He was unconscious. So they thought, oh, everyone died here. It's not safe to do like a full extract. So they like stayed in the area, but they didn't take the bodies out until 3 days later. And so he's like upside down in a Humvee for 3 days, hearing live gunfire around him.
Oh my God.
His friends around him are like dead. And his PTSD was so bad. And there was one time I visited his house, and he had to change like a light bulb on like the ceiling fan, and him getting up on the ladder and him like realizing I cannot move. I can't just move left or right. I'm at the top of a ladder. It caused him to freak the fuck out. He locked himself in his room. It was like no one talked to me, no one see me. But it can get you fucked.
You know, I gotta say, it's like fundamentally think about why. I mean, think about we are so fucking programmed to not want to die. I mean, that's fundamentally all of this stuff. It's just like because I don't know. It's just weird that we have that knob is tuned up to such a degree. Like I sometimes wonder if it's not unhealthy, right? Like, I mean, just think about, okay, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. There's an interesting conversation here to be had, but it is almost 8:00. We will go. I got to go get a drink and pee. So I want to take like 2 minutes for myself. You guys, do you mind talking to people?
Yeah, that's fine.
They're not scary. Some of them are, but I'm not going to tell you which ones. You'll be fine. Afterwards, when we come back, again, we are going to be watching Final Destination. But whether we watch it at about 8:15 or we watch it at 9:15 depends on you guys. If you like the show and you want us to go for another hour, because I don't think we have a redirect tonight, although we're happy to redirect to somebody, then excellent.
Nothing I know of, by the
but
way.
if you guys would like to membership or super chat collectively $100 in the next 10 minutes, we'll go another hour. Is that okay, Bunny? Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Tech, you're good with that?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, but if not a problem. We'll meet you in the Discord soon to watch. Bloodborne. Jaffe says, Willie, please specify PTSD for time with new viewers. It's always California time or Bunny's time. That's why I always put a slash. All right, I'm getting a Coke and I got to pee. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I said PTSD sab.
I had PTSD therapy, leaving like my work with Border Patrol. It wasn't like they were like, you need to, and I was like, I don't know if I do, and they're like, motherfucker, you need to. So
I know a good bit of people, like more than I know with PTSD, but I know people with complex PTSD from like childhood trauma and stuff. I don't know really what the difference is between the two, but I know that's like a lot more common.
Yeah, I think complex PTSD is an association of multiple factors of stressors in life that causes you to go into like an anxiety attack. Where PTSD, the broader term, is like mainly a single instance or main traumatic event that causes.
One thing triggers it mostly.
Complex
that makes
could be more severe. Yeah, so with complex PTSD, I'm pretty sure the reason why it's considered more severe is because there's so many more triggers that can affect you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just things in your normal day can just fuck you up. Zero Cool says, Tech Protect, did your therapy help yours? I don't know. So specifically with the job I was doing out there, it was like finding people who were like dead or dying, tried to cross the border, got separated from a group, or were attacked by members of that group and left in the desert, right? And the biggest thing that really affected me was like seeing kids that were dead. And that's the kicker.
Yeah.
So with how it affected me, it like I get pretty stressed out around like kids. It's, I see like a 9-year-old and it just reminds me like, yeah, I have picked up 9-year-olds and taken them to like their final resting place. Like it's that's what it is for me. I mean, the PTSD therapy was just like, here's some coping mechanisms and let's talk about it. Let's have like a conversation about it so you're more accustomed to the idea that, people die, kids die. And I thought it was like a nice mental practice. I don't know if it changed anything. I still feel like sad when I see kids in public.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm so glad I left. This sounds amazing. What you sounds so sad.
It's a sad house.
And what sucks is like I've talked to Javi about this. I would love to be a dad. I think it's probably one of the greatest things in life is like bringing a new person into the world and showing them what it is and having them have a fun time. But it kind of scares me, like what if I start getting sad because I see my kid growing up? Like, yeah, there's other kids that didn't get that opportunity. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I do need therapy still.
You need therapy. You fucking need therapy. You goddamn right. Okay, so what do we want to do? There's some new UFO information out. Maddie DeMarco, thanks so much. Always good to have you here. Thank you for rejoining the Diet Soda Soldiers, buddy. K-Nebs, of course, $2 choo-choo train coming in hot. Thank you, champion. We appreciate it. Okay.
$2 choo-choos. Choo-choo.
So
Thank you,
now,
K-Nebs.
if we advance another hour, we've got some UFO news. We got some very weird stuff to look at on the internet in terms of internet. Won't be the internet hobo tonight. He's off overseas right now doing some very important work, but he'll be back in a couple of days. However, he did send us a care package, so we've got some of that. In the meantime, though, yeah, Skywatch is pretty good. I want to see while we're waiting. Let's see what's going on. Are we at war yet? Have we started? What is going on?
Let me check. One of the news.
Strike. So there, Iran says, and this woman went to the head of Department of Homeland Security. She went to the hospital today because an allergic reaction. That's weird. I mean, okay. But apparently, yeah, there's going to be these really big attacks tonight over there. Here it is right here. Let's see if anything's going on. But think about this, though, while we're waiting. I mean, this is Israel. It is really weird, man, that, and I showed this last night when I showed Missile Command. I'm not having a hard time reading chat tonight. I'm reading chat, but we're having a conversation. But if you want to guarantee your chat gets read, you can send us a super chat. But it's not that I'm ignoring the chat. I'm moving all over the place. We were looking at Missile Command, the video game last night, and I was just struck how similar, even though obviously it wasn't photoreal back then, but it looked like what the Iron Dome is trying to do. And again, we talked about this last week about, are these things really happening in the world? I know that is the most ignorant, stupid question on the planet. But good night, Willie. Good to see you, champ. But it almost feels like we are watching a show. And I'm just going to say this, but it's exciting when the missiles are flying. You want to see what's going to happen. Are they going to shoot it down? Are they going to have a bigger explosion than this guy? I mean, that's true, right? That's not just me.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
I have a different opinion.
Even though we know intellectually there are lives being lost, there are families being destroyed, there are little kids. I get it. I'm not a monster, but I can't also separate. Maybe it's the lizard part of my brain or whatever that's like, this is exciting. Better not be happening here, but it's exciting to watch on TV.
I think that comes from like the dulled sense of direct like experience with these type of like traumas.
Okay.
Right. I think there's a huge majority of people in the United States that never will or have experienced like seeing someone die in front of you, like violently. And so because it has only been portrayed in movies and TV, there is like that built-in factor for you, like, oh, entertainment is associated with these things.
Yeah.
But there's I can guarantee my closest friends in high school, they all went to join like the Marine Corps. The group chat I'm in, they're all like, this pisses me the fuck off. Like the only emotion they're having is just anger.
What are they angry about specifically? What part?
The biggest opinion that they're having is the fact that the strikes from Iran into Israel were not as guided, were not as targeted at like military installations or, strategic resources. And it was kind of just in a residential area. And a lot of the casualties were civilians. They're pissed that, because again, for some context, the U.S. military is an entirely volunteer-based military, right? You don't get brought into it right now. We're not in a draft, right? It is you choose to do this. It's a big understanding for U.S. military personnel that like you put yourself at risk. You chose this, right? This is like your responsibility now. But seeing like a civilian get hurt, they did not choose that. Hold on.
I mean, what I would say to that, though, is of course that's true. But I would also say, well, a lot of people are probably saying that the people... it's really weird, though, right? Because the people in Gaza didn't choose it either. And you'd say, well, yeah, but Hamas, they voted for Hamas and Hamas embedded within them. I don't know if Iran has come out and said, well, the reason we're targeting these civilian apartment buildings is because this is where the leadership lives there as well. So in there, perhaps it's the same thing to them.
So I'm pretty sure the Iranian missile strikes into Tehran in Israel. They are not utilizing the same level of technology to make specific targets, effective targets land, right? They're just like, fuck it. Like, we're generally hitting the area. And that type of like, yeah, whatever, is what pisses off a lot of my friends that are currently in the military.
Yeah.
I think it pisses me off, right? That's the feeling I get. Did a lot of your cameras just go down? Or are they refreshing? Oh, okay, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I thought something would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not excited when I see this stuff. I'm just upset.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not blaming anyone else for feeling that way. It's kind of like instilled in our society.
In the chat, though, sorry to eat. Somebody says, with intent to harm says, you don't need to ascribe morality to that excitement. It isn't a moral failure to feel excited, just a physical response. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But yeah, fundamentally, nobody get hurt. But okay. So, Tech, what do you want to do? Wrap it up and move on over to...
We still got 4 minutes for people to decide if they want to donate $82.
$82.
Wow, $80. $80.
Come on now.
Are you... Oh, by the way, the latest news for this conflict right now is Trump has made a declaration publicly that the U.S. U.S. has secured the air over Iran currently.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not even officially. He's not the guy who gets to declare war, right? Congress has to declare war.
Well, yes and no.
He can send us there, but he can't actually call it a war until they vote and give him the money to fund the war.
Yes and no. Currently, Trump does have the power to engage in strategic military action, similar to what he did in Russia for Ukraine.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not war. Is all. Anyway, yeah.
Because statements were made publicly by officials in the Iranian government, like U.S. bases are potentially under threat, that is enough credence for the United States president to make a strategic action in the area, especially like clearing airspace. All
right, so officially they say... Yeah, Giuseppe says $80. Come on, Tech, we're in a war. Look, if we can't deliver the $80, Becky's not going to want to work with us. She's going to go, you guys don't make any money. Fuck you. I'm going back to Keem. You don't want that, do you? You don't want Becky to have to go back to Keem, do you? All right. But yeah, so we control the airspace. It's clear we want regime change. It's clear we want to get rid of the Ayatollah. I saw this, and this is interesting because, I am always surprised to be reminded that Iran in the 70s, before regime change, used to be a very progressive place. And this is a post that says, an Iranian woman sends a message to the Islamic regime. We will dance on your grave with all our hearts. I don't know if it's propaganda, but whatever. We now have joy and hope for the future. The murderers of Iran's children and women will fall. The Islamic regime will perish. And she certainly seems happy, assuming that this is accurate and real. On one hand, I think the kind of unregulated capitalism we have in America is just really fucking bad. But at the same time, I'd be lying if I said I don't think it would be cool to see Iran go back to being a democracy and having equal rights for people and joining the rest of the fucking modern world with sort of a sense of fairness, at least whatever that looks like. I'm not saying America's fair to everybody either, but there is kind of that, which I think would be cool. Can you imagine being a woman? I can't even imagine. Yeah. Can't even imagine what your life must be like But I guess you're raised in that, and it's normal. I assume it's like, well, yeah, it's normal. Why would I?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. They don't think. Yeah, they don't know anything else. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at some weird shit. Well, I'm waiting for Tech to give me because I got some UFO news queued up. Pretty cool stuff going on today, but I don't want to get to it if we want to save it for tomorrow because we're not going to go an extra hour. So,
anyone want to drop $50?
No, look, we're not e-begging here.
You want to money me?
We're not e-begging on this show. You either like the show enough to want another hour, or you don't. Zero Cool says it's like watching the end of the movie War Games. You're goddamn right. That movie still holds up, by the way. That movie's still... You ever see War Games, Bunny?
I think I have. Oh,
man. I saw it recently, and I'm like, this fucking thing still works, man. Still works. Dave, how are you? Greetings from Venezuela. I'm always attentive to your streams, and you're a great person. We care about you. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Oran. I appreciate that. All right. Well, let's make the assumption we're not going an extra hour, just for the moment, so I can tell you what the rest of the night looks like. So it is currently 8:15 here in California. I'm going to want to take the dog out. I'm going to want to take make some popcorn. So maybe we say we shoot for 8:45. Yeah, fuck it. Let's shoot for 9. Is that okay, Bunny? 9? Is that too late? It's midnight where you are?
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Okay. We'll do a 9 o'clock California time Discord of the new Final Destination. Has great reviews. Thank you guys tons for getting us to that goal. I'm looking forward to watching the movie with you guys. Where was I reading this? I think I was reading it in The Onion, but I saw somebody in the chat say Broderick's best role ever over Ferris Bueller, talking about War Games. But it reminded no one's going to care about this joke, but they were talking about Aaron Brockovich, the movie, and they said that they're writing a new Aaron Brockovich, but it takes place like 8,000 years before the movie. Okay, baby, what are you doing? Meds. Okay. Which is just incredibly stupid, but I thought it was hilarious. It's like, all these like, oh, it's a new Lord of the Rings, but it's 10,000 years before Frodo. It's like we're doing it with Aaron Brockovich, but it's like 8,000 years before Aaron Brockovich. So it's like, what was the story? Come on, man, that's good stuff. Anyway, whatever. Nice. Nice.
It was good.
Thanks, Bunny. I appreciate it.
God. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Twitter. Let's just see what's happening before we wrap up. See if anything breaking has occurred. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think that's subpar. If you're a comic fan, that's from the Fantastic Four. If you ever read the goddamn the Fantastic Four, that was like on the cover of the first issue. It looks like comic correct. Looks great. People are upset about it though. They don't like it. They don't think it looks good. If you watch one thing tonight, let it be this. Okay.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
Oh, no.
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah,
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why
because
is that
if
relevant?
you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay,
it's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So actually,
I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the one who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay.
I don't like Tucker Carlson at all, but that's pretty good.
Are you familiar with the demographics of Iran? Because I would want to say the majority of Americans are not. They would assume that it's like an Arab
I might know a little bit more only because one of the kids' friends growing up, her mom fled Iran, but not really. No.
Yeah. So Iran, I'm a fan of Iranian history, which is I love history in general. I know a lot about countries.
Yeah.
So Iran self-identifies and culturally identifies as Persian, right? It's like 50 to 51% of the country is Persian. I think it's only 3% of the country identifies as Arab or Arab. And the next largest group is the Azeri people, right? Culturally, they just like how you saw like back in
Where
like
are we
the 70s.
Where are we going with this? Please tell me it's interesting eventually.
Well, before what's his name? Not the White Revolution. It was the Shah initiatives. When Iran was a capitalist, like more free thinking Western-esque society.
Yeah.
Because of the societal norms of the demographics that lived there, they would have been a great ally for the U.S. Right?
Yeah.
But it was because of the CIA-backed coup that created a public backlash against foreign investment and foreign involvement in the country. So if you're trying to understand the U.S.'s position on overthrowing the regime that's there now, it's because the regime that's there now came from the U.S. involvement back in like the 70s.
Oh
80s.
yeah, we've fucked up everybody's shit. Absolutely. Okay.
So yeah, if you don't know what's happening over there and you don't know like the history of it, it's kind of, you're just looking at like, oh, we're in the Middle East again, but Iran is a different type of Middle East. Just so everyone knows.
You want to? Hey, Bunny, you want to see this thing, Karen? You want to see a Karen?
Oh, I like the Kellens.
Karen says, "What would you do if you met such a Karen?" No, I appreciate that, Tech. That's fascinating. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh no. Oh, okay, never mind. Oh no.
You want to move your truck? Move your truck.
Move the truck now, you good?
Okay. Why are you filming me?
No.
Okay, well
That better not be spray
now
paint.
she's going to jail, as she should. What a moron.
Move your truck. Move your truck. Really? You're still just going to sit here?
He's parked in the lines.
Who's filming her is what I'd like to know.
The way it's
it's
filmed
staged.
makes me think it's
Oh yeah, it's for sure.
fake.
Staged.
The filming, why'd they do it like this?
Well, who is
And
it?
That's probably not
Move
even
your truck.
like spray paint. That's probably like hair dye spray or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A green.
Your
cleaning
camera
solution.
work gives it away, lady. Nope. Not in this, not on my watch. Okay.
Nope.
Fellas, that has been the Madhouse for tonight. We are back tomorrow at 6:30. We're also back in the morning at about 10:30 on this very channel with, I don't know, talking about stuff that's interesting. But we'll definitely be back with me, Tech, and Miss Bunny Button tomorrow at 6:30 right here in the Madhouse. We very much appreciate you being here. Again, if you're new and you found us from Becky, we love that you're here. We hope you enjoyed the show. Hit us up in the comments on things you did like, didn't like, what you want us to change, what you want to see next. Find us in the Discord. There's the text right there. If you want to join us in the Discord, there will be an event room set up 40 minutes from now, about basically 9 o'clock California time, and we will be watching a motion picture show called Final Destination Bloodlines? I don't fucking know what it's called. It's a movie.
Bloodlines, I think.
Horror movie.
Bloodbutt.
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 And
By the way, that is 9 p.m. PST or what is that, Bunny?
Midnight.
EST? Midnight EST for late night movie time with Bunny, Jaffe, and Tech Protect. Mainly Bunny and Jaffe.
What do you mean? You're not going to watch?
I'll be there. I don't have... My critique of movies or film seems a little bit immature to give. So, like, while you guys are giving commentary about, like, oh, look at this. Like, I'll be like, scary. But I don't know if I have good commentary on one day.
He's sick.
Shut up.
Bunny, he's sick.
He's sick. I know. Poor
All
fella.
right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon. Where's the music, man?
Love you guys.
Where's the
we're doing a song. I was thinking maybe we do top song for the top fan, which is I think Zero. Who is it? Zero what?
Better
Zero
hurry.
Cool. Zero Cool.
Gets the song. I'll start. I am no motherfucking fool. I see the value of Zero Cool. His parents never loved him, but I don't give a shit. Bunny, go.
Zero Cool's a really great guy. Unless he is a girl, then he's a great girl. Love you.
Zero Cool, you're in the house. Zero Cool, just wear the blouse and I'll close my eyes and put the perfume of my ex on your neck, and then we'll have that sex, and then we'll take it to bed, and that's enough said. Jaffe!
That's all I got. Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching the show. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.